henkilökohtaiset proppini esiin. Niitä tulee sitten kun kangu edistyy.
Yes.
Tai sieltä tulee siis niin kun pukeutumiseen, tästä tulee niin kun teoriaa ensin, ja sit pukeutumiseen voi sitten pukeutumisen kohdalla sit tarvittaessa voi vetää sen niin kun kalvat pois.
Meillä siis ei ole täällä jatkuvasti ketään valvomassa, mutta mä pystyn tehdään tällaista modernia maailmaa ja minä etäohjaan tätä sitten sitä mukaan mitä asiat tapahtuu.
Joo. Tämän pitäisi olla 10 minuutin pätkä tässä, kun mä selitän teoriaa, jos mun mittaukset pitää paikkansa. Sitten mulla on todennäköisesti noin puolen tunnin ehkä pidempi pätkä pukemista pelkkää strictly. Niin näistä vähän heiluu sitä mukaan, kun tulee ongelmia tai...
Mennään sillä ja jos tulee joku kriisi, niin
Joo.
täällä on se vankeripaikan päällä, että sitten mä vahditan etänä, kun meitä
Kiitos.
on vähän.
Joo, mä voin kuvitella. No niin, onko mun mikki toiminnassa päällä? Kuuluuko?
Mun mielestä
Kuuluu.
puhu nyt.
No niin, kuuluuko ääni ihmisellä?
Hiljaisehko, eli nusta taas.
Joo, mä ehkä huutelen tässä kyllä enemmän sitten. Mutta onko täällä millainen äänentoisto yleisöllä?
Siis se kuuluu kyllä, mutta niinku sitä voi tuoda vähän lähemmäs sitä, niin sitä.
Sä voit antaa sitä vähän, mutta siis katän
Ollut päällä. Niin.
kokeile nyt vielä.
1, 2, 1, 2. Can everybody hear me? Okay, fantastic. All good. Kiitos. Okay, cool. We are 3 minutes late. Sorry for that. Was slightly surprising setups. But welcome to this panel/demo of Kimono Yukata 101. This is held by me, Nilla Yliluoma, and my wonderful assistant, Milla. Fantastic. She's gonna mostly sit and be dressed. Extremely, extremely important, actually. Okay, what are my qualifications for holding this demo and teaching you guys about kimono and yukata and how to wear them and what their responsibilities are? Absolutely none. Absolutely none. But actually, I did go to Japan. I spent 6 months studying under Gato sensei. That is a beautiful misspelling of my name because it could translate to katakana and then back to Romanji. They tried their best. But it is only a basic course that I did. I mostly just deeply immersed in myself into old grandmas and their kimonos in kind of rural Japan and spent 6 months doing that and got absolutely obsessed. That's why I'm here. Okay, now let's get actually into the meat of the project. What's the difference? Because kimono and yukata, they look very similar. What's the actual difference? Let's start with kimono. Here's a beautiful picture of a dress model that I dressed as a visual aid. It can be either casual or formal. Kimono is what you wear for weddings, for graduations, for funerals, but also as everyday wear. It is incredibly formal or casual, depending on what it is, what's on the kimono, and how you dress it. It can be worn in any season. Most of the times nowadays, you will see them in summer, spring, and fall, because they are not used as everyday garments anymore. But there are a lot of old wool kimonos that are made for winter. We unfortunately don't see these anymore. My kimono that I'm dressing today is actually a summer kimono, specifically. It's lighter material, it's breathable, it's see-through, kind of. I'll demonstrate as I start dressing. But there are different seasons of stuff. And there's multiple layers. This is probably the most common thing known, is that there's multiple layers in kimono. Then what about yukata? Here's a wonderful picture of me, because I only had a picture of myself, unfortunately. It's always casual. It is always casual. Yukata is never ever formal. It's never worn in any formal occasions. is literally just a casual thing that you wear, mostly during summer matsuris, like summer festivals, and you can wear it in basically any fashion, because yukata is just so informal that there's basically no wrong way to do it. It's only summer wear or bathhouses. Bathhouse is probably the most common thing you see at yukata. They're slightly different style. Bathhouse and nightwear yukatas are different style than the ones you wear for matsuri. And it's only one layer. So it's cool, it's breathable. And then let's go into the different styles. It's gonna be a very packed theory session of yukata and kimono, because it's gonna take a little bit of time as I actually do dress my model. So we won't be covering a lot of menswear, and we won't be covering extremely, extremely formal events. We are only covering basic everyday, because I do not have time to dress anybody in furisode. I do not have time to go into furisode or go into like very specific details about like stuff. And I'm not here to tell you how to style your kimono and how to make an outfit, because there's a lot of coordination that goes into that. But let's get into that. So in the top corner, you can see very, very formal kimono. These are all in Japanese. I'm very sorry about that. I did not have time to translate them. But it's formal kimono. That one specifically is mostly wedding wear that they have in the picture, but that also includes like other like normal wear. And then down in the bottom of the left side, it goes very funny, because it goes down a level of formality and then it goes right. So down there is what you would consider outing. That's your outing kimono. It is something that you go outside. It's like it's not formal, but it's not casual either. It's kind of like a weird middle point of that. It can be very, very versatile. And then you have casual wear, which is much more casual everyday wear. It's what you would wear to like a grocery store. If you wear kimonos every single day, it's what you wear to a grocery store or for like a walk in a park and stuff like that. Not any specific events. And then you have yukata, which is the informal one. It is always just informal. And then we get into the different styles of kimono and what their differences are. So this slide is only formal, and I am throwing my materials. I'm very sorry. I like pointing things with my hands, in case you did not notice. But let's start from the left, from the right. I cannot tell my sides. But there's kurotomesode, which is the most formal thing you can wear as a married woman. That is the most formal thing you can wear. It is fully black. It only has designs on the bottom, and it usually has crests, either 5, so on the sleeves, in the back, in the middle, and on the back of the sleeves. It can also have 3 or 1, and depending on the level of crests, it determines how formal the thing is. Though, do not wear with a black obi, because if you wear the black obi, you're mourning, you're in funeral. That's just funeral only. Don't wear black on black. I mean, you can, but don't go to Japan in it. People assume you're mourning. And then we go to irotomesode. I actually own an irotomesode, but I did not bring it with me because it takes so much space. It is similar to kurotomesode, except it's slightly less formal. It's still incredibly formal, but it's colorful, so it's less formal. And same as kurotosame, irotomesode only has a pattern on the bottom. It doesn't have pattern on the sleeves, not at all. And it can have crests. It can have 5, 3, or 1, depending on the formality of the garment. Irotomesode is quite often what like married women wear to like weddings of like close family members. If you're the mother of the bride, you're in kurotomesode, or the mother of the groom. But if you're like relative to the bride and the groom, you'll probably wear irotomesode. And then there's furisode. Furisode is probably the most famous of the kimonos because it is so beautiful. It looks so wonderful. And it's such a like interesting garment because it's long sleeve, beautiful colors, beautiful patterns. This is the most formal thing you can wear as an unmarried woman. And it's very pretty. And it's what like Japanese women wear for their 20th birthday or the coming of age day, which is in January when they turn 20, like of the year they turn 20. So that's the kimono that you probably see the most of. There's a lot of different styles and a lot of different ways you can dress it, but it's always very elaborate. But most people just like wear it whenever. And then we go to the formal or casual. And from the level of formality, we have homongi. Homongi is a colorful kimono that has patterns all the way up the sleeves. So if you have colors on the sleeves, it's probably a homongi. Very, very commonly. If it's like a very beautiful, elaborate pattern. If it's just like single pattern across the entire fabric, that's usually then considered common. But homongi is like beautiful, elaborate colors, beautiful, elaborate fabric, and beautiful, elaborate patterns. And that is what you would usually wear if you're just a guest at a wedding. That's what you wear. Or like nicer. And tukesage, it is slightly less formal version of homongi. It has patterns across the sleeves and stuff, but it is simple patterns. They don't cross the seams. I won't go into detail as to what that means because that is a whole nother level of things, of like whether the pattern crosses the seams or not. It depends on the level of formality and the way the fabric's done. But tukesage is the most versatile kimono you can own because you can wear it down to become casual, or you can wear it up to become formal. And it only depends on what obi you wear with it, honestly. Obi determines like 80% of the formality. And then you have iromugi, which is either single color, or common, which is either like simple pattern. And these are usually quite common kimonos that you can see. Like my summer kimono is considered common. It is simple patterns, it's repeating pattern, it is not anything specific, it is not like anything like interesting. Like it is very, very beautiful, but it is everyday wear. And then let's go quickly into the different parts of kimono. Let's start with underwear. The most important parts is you have your haragi underneath, which can literally be almost anything she's wearing underneath. You can beautifully demonstrate. It is not a very flattering garment. It's meant to be washed. It can all be just like a t-shirt, a tank top, anything that leaves your neck open enough that you can have the kimono be back far enough. And then you have the beautiful nagajuban, which is the underlay of the kimono that you can actually see the color of. And then you have like koshihimo, which is literally just strings. It's things you tie the kimono with. And then you have a datajime, which is like slightly wider strings you tie the kimono with. They have a purpose, but what the purpose specifically is very complicated and it's not within the scope of this particular panel. And then you have, we don't use haneri in this particular one because haneri is a very kind of complicated thing to like add into a kimono, but it is like a separate layer on your kimono. Or it can be, depending on the like thing, but it's like a separate layer that usually comes with your, it comes with a nagajuman, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's a tube you stuff your erishin into. I'll show it when I start dressing. And then you have tabi, and then you have maeta. Maeta is literally just like a thing that makes your obi sits nice and clean. It doesn't really matter exactly how it is. And there's like another beautiful version of it in my holy grail of Japanese books, but. And then we quickly go into the upper parts of kimono, which is obi. Honestly, there's not much else. There's literally the underlayers, the kimono itself, and then the obi. The obi is the obi itself. That is what it is. Yeah. Then you have obi makura, which is what makes the obi stay up. My obi makura, I think, is in. No, it's not that. I think it's actually still in the bag. If you can grab that, thank you so much. I just realized I don't have it up on the table. Fun for me. But yeah, and then you have obijime and obiage, which is obijime is what holds the obi actually up, and obiage is to hide all the not fun bits. Did I actually not bring? I think it might be there. Yeah, I think I might have stuffed it there. But we'll find out in a bit. We'll find out in a bit if I actually do have it. But cool. Now we're getting into the dressing demo. We're already in here, I know, right? Let me double check. I literally did not have it anywhere else. No, I do not. Yeah, it is in there. Fantastic. I did do the smart thing and actually put the obiage on it. Obi makura. I thought I had two, which one was for demonstration purposes, but I did not bring two because I am not that smart. But cool. I'm going to do this somebody else. Dressing yourself is very, very different. So I'm very sorry for this. This, like, it won't be very useful for you to learn how to dress yourself. But this is erishin. All it does is literally go into a pocket. That's literally all it does.
So it holds up the collar.
Yeah.
You need to repeat. Doesn't matter which side is up.
Yes, it does. Most of the ones I do have, it's like, I got taught this is Shinkansen, this is Ken. Most of the ways it doesn't actually matter, but because of the way that I know, I have to put it the Shinkansen way around. So the collar sits nice on my particular model. Oftentimes you do want it in Ken, because you want the curved end to be against your body. But this depends on the person. But this is the underlayer you get to put on. Wrong hole. There you go.
So yeah, it holds up the collar like this.
Yeah. Okay. Important note. Neck. You want that out. It's the only thing you can show in Japanese culture. You can show the neck. And then, another important thing, it's left side over. Don't put right side over, you're dead. Put left side over. This is, let me see if I can actually have an easier way of showing this. Not very easy, but do you actually remember where left side is? No, I'm literally wearing this. I don't know how I don't know. Personal problems. Is it just this, and then just tie it? Kimono is not supposed to be painful. Everybody thinks it's supposed to be very tight and very painful. These strings, all you have to do is just tie them enough that they don't fall. All you're doing is holding this closed. Oftentimes, you would wear padding. I don't particularly wear padding with a lot of my kimonos, and my model doesn't wear any padding. I do have some padding to show. This is a padding you would put on your lower back. It would go here, because your goal is to be as flat as possible. And then I have one that goes over your chest if you happen to need any smoothing on that side. And then, usually when you wear it, it happens that the area goes back up. You want to pull that back down. And then this causes this to need to be pulled down. And then what you want to do is try to smooth this to be as smooth as you possibly want it to be. And then you take a datejume, and this is what actually holds this closed. So this is important placement for this. You want this to be literally underside of the boobs. Very kind of funky placement. Sorry, it's very intimate when you dress somebody. But you want it to be here because this is the best way to have the eri stay closed.
And also again, smooth.
Smooth. Smooth. One way to achieve this, by the way, is by owning kimono bra. Having a bra that literally all it does is compresses your chest a little bit, helps a ton with the way your kimono sits on you. It's very, very difficult. Oftentimes, these don't like to sit exactly where you would like them to be. That's okay. Don't worry too much about it. And then we get to the fun part. Get to the kimono itself. As you can see, this is slightly see-through because it is, in fact, a summer kimono. And so is my naga joban as well. It's a summer version of it. So they're less heavy. They're less heavy and they're less hot, which immensely helps with the way you feel when you're wearing it. Where's my
Where are my sleeves?
Yeah, they're lost. Cool. A very helpful way you can do is to grab your sleeves and pull side to side. That helps to center the kimono on you. It's hard to tell if the center seam on your back is in the center or not. And then if you have clips, use clips. You want to clip these two collars together so they don't move. This will make your life much, much easier when you're dressing. Obviously, oftentimes when you're dressing yourself, you can't see. This is mostly for when you're dressing somebody else, but you can also, if necessary, clip it on the top. It really, really depends on what exactly you want. And now comes the very fun part of how to explain this. But basically, all you do is you check that the collar is even, you gather things, and then you hoist it up. And then all you do is to check that the left part goes exactly where you want it.
Which is?
You want it to be sitting about, you want to be covering your entire front. I'm very sorry if this is hard to see for people. You want to be covering your entire front, and you want it to be sitting around the outside of your right leg. That's where you kind of want it to be sitting. It really, really depends exactly where you want it to be sitting. So you hold that there and see it. Then you open it up, and you have your right side. You pull it in. I literally just moved this as much as I wanted to. There we go. You pull it in, and then you pull it up. Because the bottom layer, you want the bottom layer to be scooped up. Because the silhouette you want is inwards, not outwards. I did pull that a little bit too far ahead, but that's okay. And then the next himo, or the next string you put in, is the most important one, because it's literally the one that holds the entire kimono up. This is the only string you want to do tight. All the other ones, doesn't really matter. This is the only one you actually want to do tight. And you want to make sure that this doesn't randomly open, because if it does, your entire kimono falls out. How you tie your himo and stuff doesn't actually matter. I do in a way that my personal kimono teacher actually does not like, because she thinks I should not do knots, because she thinks those are uncomfortable. Personally, it doesn't bother me, but you can do a lot of ways to tie your himo in a way that it doesn't pull. And then all you do is find all the extra fabric that is sure to be there and pull it up. I have to turn you around a little bit, because this happens. You pull it all up. You don't want to pull it down, because there's nowhere for it to go when you pull it down. You want to be pulling it up above the himo, because you want this layer. If your kimono is slightly too small for you, and you can't actually get this, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It really depends. If it's very big for you, just keep layering. Just keep layering. It'll be fine. Cool. And now comes the part which is very difficult to explain how to do it well, which is checking if the front is nice and tight. It's a clean line. You don't want anything bulky. It always is going to end up being bulky just because of the way things are, but you want to minimize the bulk. A lot of that you can do by hiding things under the obi. But now, what we're going to do is we're going to set the eri. I'm sorry. Remember, there's a lot of holes in the kimono. Use those to your advantage to pull things around and make sure that they are sitting where you want them to sit. This one is literally just to hold the eri where I want it to be. This particular fabric has a lot of friction, so it's easier to keep up, but it's also harder to tuck things inside. There we go. It is all good. Then we have a dadajima. This is your hot tip of the day. If you have any bulk, the way you can erase it is you take your dadajima, you start from the bottom, you slide up. It doesn't take all of it, but it helps you to get all the stuff from the inside and slide further up. There wasn't that much fabric here that needed a lot of something to be done. And the way I usually do this is I tie a knot in the front, I cross it, and then I hide the ends. This is all you have to do. It doesn't really move. It does not really move after that. Cool. And now, since we have the dadajima on, we take the time to straighten out the back. Take the time to make sure that this back is smooth and straight, as much as you can. It's not always possible, but if there are any wrinkles, try to hide them in your armpits. because not everything sits nice and smooth. And if this is having any problems and it's not nice and smooth on the back, just take it and just gather it. You might want to actually gather on the other end. You take it, turning. You gather it and then you just kind of tuck. You hide it. It's still not very pretty, but this is going to be hidden under the obi. It's all good. And this is literally just to make the obi sit smooth. Because there's a lot of bulk here. There's a lot of stuff that will actually transfer through the obi. So there are summer versions of Maeta, but I actually don't have one that's easy to actually demonstrate with. The one I have is literally just an insert. It doesn't have a smooth thing on it. Yeah, it is hard. Cool. Then we get to the fun part, which is the obi. This is my obi. This is pretty standard. Let me hold it up so people in the back can see. This is a quite standard obi. It's not anything fancy. It's not very formal. It has one end that is sewn in half and one end just free. And when you start tying your obi, you want the opening to be on top. You want the bottom to be nice and clean. Because you don't want anything, you don't want your good luck to fall out. So usually the way to start this is you put it up, you measure about what needs to be done. I need more clips. Keep running out of them. And you just usually just clip that in. I will just now borrow my own eri for my clips. And then I'm trying to figure out the best way to actually show this to as many people as possible. But what you do is you keep folding it in half. This has been used a lot of times. My obi has been used so many times that it actually likes to fold exactly where I want it. But if you have a newer one, you have to work with it a little bit. It's much harder, and some obis are much harder materials. This one's quite soft. And I have to walk around. Keep walking onto my own obi. Cool. Now we get to the part where you tighten it. So you grab the underneath and just pull. It's not a lot that it's going to tighten. Just going to make sure this is smooth. There we go. There we go. And now I'm going to take I have a little pin. This is what nobody tells you, is how they actually keep the obi on. Is you grab this part, which is on the very inside. This is something you cannot be shown really how to do this. You just clip those two things together. It doesn't usually stay very well, but you clip it. And then you grab this. You fold it. It is very difficult to fold it. Which way of folding it? There's really somewhere. There we go. I'm used to doing this to myself. Hold that. Thank you. Cool. And now we get to the part where I need my obimakura. I have a hair tie holding my obimakura together, so it's nice and pretty. Okay. Then what you want is smooth and straight front. And then let me grab my strings. And you want it quite high up on your back. And then all you do is literally bring it to the front, you tie it, and you stuff it inside your obi. There you go. And then you pull that forwards, and just stuff that in. Hidden away. And then we have the rest of the sash. We're just going to tie it in the front in literally just a bow, because we're going to deal with it later. Can try it. Cool. It's literally just to hold it out of the way. I still need you back. Sorry, thank you very much. Okay, this is the hard part that a lot of people struggle with, is how to make, I'm also only teaching how to make a otaiko, because that is the, in my personal opinion, the simplest one. Yeah, it's the catch-all one. You can use it in literally anything. And this is like the fun part where you just kind of eyeball how big you want your actual obimakura to be. And then you have your himo. You fold the himo to be in between, grab the middle, and just stuff the rest upwards. If it still stays that it's too long on the bottom, just keep stuffing. Keep folding it. It will eventually fit in there. It is big. I'm going to tie that in front. Cool. Like, if you have this problem, the way you can do it is like you pull on the inside. Pull on the inside to make sure that it is the length you want. And the length you want it is about 1 finger. Very precise, I know. The length you want it is about 1 finger. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. That's just what happens. It's just what it is. And now we get to unravel this. I need you to turn. This is the part where you have this, and you have to feed it through the taiko. So you find where the middle part between what you just folded in and the outside part is. And then you just feed it through. And for the rest of this, you grab it, you fold it inwards. And the way all of this stays together is with this. My one doesn't, by the way, have any difference between which side you tie and on which end. Cool, you have to turn forwards again. Mine doesn't have any differences. But what you want is for the sides to be even. And then you tie it. I don't have a good way of explaining how this knot works, because I literally just, I learned it and I don't know how to explain it. But it's kind of like a seaman's knot. Not really, but kind of. There's a lot of ways to do it. I made a little bulky one. Oh well.
You don't know name of the knots?
No, I do not. That was not included in my education. It was not deemed important information. Was not at all deemed important information. And then we hide all the bad things away. So the way you take this is you fold it in half and half, so you only have pretty outsides. You bring it in. You have the other one, half and half. Take the right side top, you tie it. Usually when you tie, you want to pull it in the middle so it doesn't run. Pull in the middle. Sorry, there were many more people than I was anticipating. And then you take the left one, you make a pretty little knot with it. You pull. You try to make a very pretty round shape here. I am not very good at this personally. It's not a part that I've never been very good at. There's a lot of ways to do it. And then you just roll the rest and you stuff it inside the obi. Same on the other side. You take it, you stuff it inside the obi, and then you run your fingers along the top of the obi to make sure that everything is nicely tucked in. Make sure that everything is nice and even and about in the middle. And then you check the rest. You check that the front, you can run your finger down. You check the front is nice and tidy. You check the back is nice and tidy. And then take off the final clip. And it is a little long, but we won't mind about it. And you're done. Then you put like your zori on and stuff, but this is a basic demonstration of how to wear kimono. You are done. This is unfortunately not a panel where you can learn how to do this yourself. This is just to show how it's done. And there are a lot of ways you can learn it. And then we went to the fun part. We get to undress her. Because next one is yukata dressing demo. This one will take way less time. It will take way less time. I need you to undo this. And then this is fun. Undo that. Thank you. Then you have the obimakura. The moment you take the obimakura away, the obi falls apart. It's literally held on by hopes and dreams. Just hopes and dreams. The rest of this will be put away nicely later on. Unfortunately, you guys don't get to learn how to fold things today.
Takes 20 minutes to put on and 5 seconds to take off.
Yeah,
The whole thing.
does not take too long.
How long does it take to fold?
Usually about, it takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to fold. To teach how to fold, much longer. I'm usually a little lazy about folding because you have to do it in a very particular way for it to fold pretty and nice. Oh, with yukata, if you want and you own a nagajuban, you can wear a nagajuban underneath yukata.
This one, right?
Yes. You don't have to, but you can. It is not illegal to do that. No, because sometimes it's like some parts of things can be considered like, oh, you can only wear this with this, or you can only wear that with that. That's the goal. And then we have a yukata.
This is mine.
Yes.
Nilla brought it from Japan as a souvenir for me.
I think this is the 3rd time it's being worn.
Yeah.
I make this everybody's
problem.
problem.
I don't have many occasions to wear this, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
I'm also not good at dressing it myself, even though you taught me.
Yukata, same principle, neck showing. Literally with yukata, you only need 2 things to hold it up compared to the forever work of a kimono. Same logic. You make sure that the eri is in the middle. Everything's all good. You grab the sides, you hoist it up. The length you want the kimono and yukata usually to be is about the ankles. It's about you heel your ankles. And if you're wearing zori or you're wearing shoes with it, match it to your shoes. You want it to be slightly longer if you don't want it to be touching the ground. And with yukata, it's same principle, just kind of match the front. This one is slightly big, so there's a lot more fabric that we're working with compared to my other one. Just pull it. You pull the other one up. You tie it closed. Tie it much more closed. Keeping it up. And then you pull all the extra up again. Turn the back. The back is the part where everything is always messed up. The back is never sitting nice and smooth. So you just have to keep pulling at it until you get all the extra fabric that was in there to be hidden away. This is so long that what you want to just do is just preemptively fold it. You want to preemptively fold that in to make sure that this is nice. Same at the front. Just kind of want to make sure that everything is pulled nice. And then you want to make sure that the eri sits closed, because this is the only layer you have. You want your eri to be closed. You want your collar closed. Cool. You can tie this together with a himo, but I'm lazy, so I do it with just dadejime, because this does the same thing. There's no particular reason to necessarily use a himo unless you very specifically want to. And then we check that the back has no wrinkles. Has no wrinkles. This is as smooth as it can be. Kind of folding it up. There we go. And then we grab, this is called hanobi. It is half of the width of a normal obi. It's half. This is most commonly worn with yukata. You can wear these with kimono as well. It is not like against the rules, but it does make your kimono much more casual. It's much less formal when you're wearing a half width obi compared to a full width obi. But this, absolutely fantastic for a yukata. You don't want to work yukata with like a full width obi. It's so much harder. These are very soft. They're very easy to tie, very easy to crumble. It's very nice and easy. You can also, with this, the way I do it is I have a maida in here. You don't need one, but it does help making things much more smooth and easy. There's a lot more things you can stuff behind there. Okay, so the way I usually start with these is start with the back, and then we turn around. I try not to block anything. I'm very good at starting on the right end. Absolutely never. But you have it. You decide the length. There's like some people that are very like purists in terms of like which direction your obi is supposed to be turned and like tied. There's actually no right. There's no particular like. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Like you can tie it in each direction, because when it's done being tied, nobody can tell unless they address you. Nobody can tell. It's just whichever way ends up being more comfortable for you and it's easier for you to tie. That's all that matters. And then we get to do the fun part, which is usually this end of the obi that's larger, you want to fold it in half in about a triangle formation. And you have the one at the top. You kind of take it, you pull it up through, you tighten, you twist forwards. You twist so it's parallel lengthwise, and then just let it drop. I am incredibly, incredibly bad at tying beautiful bows. It's very hard. I don't like doing it. So I'm literally looking where I have. I highly, highly recommend getting a sanhimo. It is a string that has 3 elastics sewed in the middle of it. All it does is you can do very elaborate and beautiful designs on yukata obi without hassle. So the way it works is you take it and you tie it.
And hide it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, everything you do is you want to hide it inside your obi. All along, you hide all of this in obi. Cool. Then you have this beautiful thing here. And then you get to freestyle, because there is no right or wrong way to tie a yukata obi as long as it stays on. That's all that matters. You should just kind of start there. Take another half. Put in the second hole. This is where you get to be like fun and creative. And get to decide what looks nice and what doesn't. There you go. Tied. It is not as elaborate or beautiful as some people can make it. And then you just hide everything. It's nice, it's comfortable. You can leave your yukata like this. All you have to do is check that all the edges are smooth, and if there are any wrinkles, secret, tuck it inside. Just hide it in obi. That's literally all you do. You hide things in obi. If that's the one thing you take away from this lesson, hide the thing inside in your obi. That is all you can do. You can also hide snacks and phones and anything else in your obi. It is literally a pocket. Another secret pocket is your sleeves. But they might be more burdensome to carry. But yeah, that's it. You can, if something ends up too short, by the way, just take the hem and pull. That's all you have to do. You can leave the yukata like this with no obijime, or you can take one and tie it. Doesn't really matter. You can take one that's like fun and tie on the side. Make a pretty one, and you're like, oh, I want to do some designs on it. You kind of fold it. Just get folded again. And then just like keep folding it until it looks nice. But since this is gonna actually stay on her, I'm not gonna do one because it is slightly more comfortable with that one.
And it doesn't match the color scheme.
I know, it doesn't. And then you can have a pretty bag and done. This yukata is wrinkly because we did not iron it beforehand.
You didn't tell me to.
I did not think about it. Mine is also a little wrinkled, but it's straightened out in the day. But yeah. That is... Also, have you guys enjoyed my beautiful anime pictures of demonstrations? These are all yukatas, and these were all kimonos. And there's actually one hakama in the picture as well.
In the very left, on the very left side, the girl with the long hair, she's wearing hakama.
Yeah. There is a surprising amount of people wearing kimono in anime nowadays. It used to just be yukata. But then we got My Happy Marriage, and we got a lot of them. This fun technical issues. What happened? Hello. Okay. I have no idea what I did. Okay. Then, where do you get it? Where do you get a kimono or yukata? If you don't have one, you want to have one, where do you get one? Go to Japan. First and foremost, go to Japan. Easiest, cheapest, not for flights, but for the materials. For the yukata and kimono itself, go to Japan. You can find plenty of things there. You can get your custom-made ones made. You can find things second-hand. You can find so many different designs and stuff.
Yeah, this was second-handed. How much did it cost? Like,
I paid like 4 years for that.
yeah, so.
Very different. But if going to Japan is slightly too much of a hassle, go to Dabikauppa. It's in Turku. It's in almost all conventions. They sell very, very good quality kimono and yukata, and they're very, very reasonably priced. You can find everything you need to wear in Dabikauppa. Dabikauppa also does hold actual how to dress yourself lessons. So if any of you actually want to learn how to do this, please check those out. They are actually fantastic people. I literally don't know any of them, but they are just a shop that I discovered recently, and I was like, they're amazing, and I want to check them out. But if that's not possible, or you just don't happen to find anything that fits you or you do like, make it yourself. They're just squares. It's just fabric. It's relatively easy to make your own. It does require effort, it does require work to figure out how to do it. But it's plausible. And then we go to the fun section of tips and tricks. I did not write everything down that I'm going to be pointing out. The first thing I'm going to point out, you can see this collar is soft and flimsy. Mine is not. Because you can actually you can actually just break apart a little section of the collar and stick your erishin in it. Because it's not meant to necessarily. There's no ready-made holes for you, but you can just take a seam ripper and open up a seam a little bit, and you can stick it in, and it works perfectly fine. It makes it stiffer, it makes it hold its shape better, and it makes it just so much easier to keep it where you want it to be. Cool. If you want to make your kimono look better, your yukata look better, you to feel much more comfortable, get a kimono bra and make your own padding. Not every body type needs padding. Not every person needs padding. But if you feel like something sits funny or feel like something is bulky or bulging the wrong way, make padding. There are various makes. Get some towels, make them some shapes, get some string or get some like rubber, and just make something that fits your personal body type. My padding fits my personal body type. That's why it literally cannot be used on anybody else. It can, but it usually looks funny.
Yeah, we tried putting it on me and it just didn't look right.
Yeah, because I have a longer torso. My torso is longer, so I have a higher slope in my back. So it tends to fold in funny. Number 2, you can get extra space in your nagajuban. If your nagajuban feels like it is too tight and it won't hold the eri in place, and you feel like you can't cross it over your chest enough, rip out the seam a little bit on the side. On your side seams, by your armpit and where the opening is, you can rip that apart just a little bit, just enough to get enough space to move it over your chest. It won't, yeah.
Yeah, so that middle leg or the inner layer of the...
Yeah. Mine has actually done it, because this was also secondhand. This used to be attached right there, but I've seen ripped up a little bit, so it gives me enough space to pull it over enough, so it doesn't move. Because they're very, very difficult to find in your own size unless you're getting them ready-made. Also, nagajubans are in multiple different versions. There's ones that are 2-piece, there's ones that are like much more elaborate, I'll have like different pieces and stuff. It's all good. If you want to change the nagajuban's color, you can just add a piece of fabric to it. You can just add a piece of fabric and like safety pin it in. I've literally safety pinned fabrics for like a Christmas yukata I did. I had a red yukata, I wanted a very green color. I took a green strip of fabric and safety pinned it to my nagajuba's collar and just wore it underneath. Works perfectly fine. Just make sure that when you safety pin it on the inside so it's hidden under the layers. And then, yukata is very, very informal. If you ever want to wear any Japanese traditional fashion, wear yukata, you cannot go wrong with it. Nothing you can do with a yukata would be considered offensive or run wrong.
Except for the collar. Maybe.
Yeah, the collar is the only thing you have to like wear right. Otherwise you're dead. If you want to play dead, you can wear it with the other way around. But I got told like, if you want, you can wear like actual normal belt with it. I've seen people in Japan wear a corset. I've seen people wear like just a scarf. Anything goes. Most Japanese people don't know how to wear a yukata. You go to a matsuri, they are worn in the craziest ways. They're worn in wildly different ways because it's not common knowledge anymore. But because of that, it's informal. You can wear it almost however you like. Kimono is much more formal. So there are much more rules as to what you can wear and what you can't wear with it. There's much more rules as to how you dress it, how it sits, who wears what. All of it doesn't necessarily matter, but there's much more rules involved that you have to kind of be conscious of. Doesn't always matter, but it's important. And most things are easy to make yourself. You can DIY like 80% of things you need for a yukata. Any questions? At the back, yeah. Oh, gloves. You would wear a haori. You could wear a hat, or you have a. There's actually like I have a book that has like a wonderful picture of fur-lined shoes that are literally just a winter wear. They're just fur lined. And oftentimes you would have things made of wool and other things that are warm, that would keep you warm. The same way as like we have a lot of clothes that can be worn both in winter and summer. They had also specific ones, but nowadays most of the things are for parties, are for formal events, and are for summer. Any more questions? Yeah? Okay.
How do you like recognize which one's yukata and which one's kimono? If you just see the fabric somewhere, or if someone's wearing yukata with the underlayer going on, how do you know that which one's what?
You can usually tell by the color a little bit. And I don't know how to explain this, but you can just tell when you look at it. But usually it's the way the fabric is. It's usually cotton. It's usually cotton fabric. It's usually much more lightweight. And
Kimonos are like thick silk or like.
yeah, it's usually the patterns are very summery. The more summerier the fabric, the most likely to be yukata. If it looks like it's like cotton or like kind of like a t-shirt kind of material, it's most likely a yukata. It's kind of hard to tell. Usually the best way to tell, look at the obi. Honestly, the best way to tell, if you see somebody wearing it and you're wondering who it is, you wear obi. You got the obi. If they're wearing like a yukata obi like this, most likely a yukata. If they're wearing otaiko, it's most likely a kimono. Very likely. Not always, but very likely. Cool.
So I walked in late. Did you have any specific advice or tips for gentlemen looking to wear kimono?
I am not very well versed in men's kimono, but it is much harder to find. That's just fact. Less guys wear it, unfortunately, but
That's why I bought mine here.
yeah. It is kind of similar. Same rules. Left side over right. It's much less formal. You need to have your collar attached to your neck. You don't want your neck showing because that's only for women. And I know, right? And you want your belt to be sitting under your belly. It's kind of on your hips. On the woman, it sits higher up. It's on your waist. For men, it's ideal to actually have a little bit of like a belly so you can have it under the belly. Because for some reason, that was very desired. But oftentimes, you kind of wear it lower. It's not on your natural waist. It's more on your hips. And you just like have proper underlayers with it. Men's kimono also has like an underlayer with it, the same way women's have. They're usually just like shorter sleeves. Sleeves are shorter this way, and they are usually sewn shut. So that's the. Yeah, there's like a lot of rules, but it's not. I'm not very good at men's. Oh yeah. There, it's just one length. Women's get to have fun layers. Men's kimono is like easier to learn how to wear, because most of it is just put it on, learn how to tie the obi, and then just go from that. But yeah. Any more questions? One in the back.
Can obijime and obi be too short or too long?
Yes, they can. They are usually standard. They're standard sizes, but there are long obi, and there are long obijime. But they are usually, when you find them, they're standardized, but you can find very, very long ones as well. Yeah?
You told us where we can buy them, but where can we learn more about this? How did you end up in Japan learning for 6 months, and where can we go?
YouTube. There are a lot of fantastic YouTubers that actually do show you how to do it. There are 100 ways to do it. This is just like exactly how I learned to do it. And even then it's a little kind of, I got taught by grandma. So, it's her way specifically how to do things. It really depends. There was one more question I saw at least.
Do you have to take the whole thing off when you go to the bathroom?
No, you take one side, you fold it up.
All right, makes sense.
Older women, it's like a dress. You just pull it up. And then when you take it down, you just kind of like pull it a little bit, make sure all the hems are nice. Cool, there's one more question. I think we have a little bit more time, I think. Yes, fantastic.
Because I'm very lazy and bad with kimono today even. I was crying when putting this on. Is there adult obis and rosettes that you can put with kind of like kids version of. They have like I don't know what is the called.
Oh, the pre-made ones.
Yeah, pre-made ones that are like just like you stick in it, or have like it's very easy to put on things for adults.
Oh, yes, they do. You can also make them yourself if you wanted to. You can take a fabric and just you make it into shape you want. You reinforce it, and then you just sew it on top of like a fabric that fits right around your waist, and then you basically just like Velcro it together. One way to do it. Perfectly acceptable, perfectly fine. That's very, very common in Japan. They sell like adult ones in Japan as well that are like huge pre-made ones, and those are like very, very common ones. But it's also like you can also just like tie like a traditional bow. That's also acceptable. But yeah. Any more questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
What got you into yukatas and kimonos?
Honestly, I was born in Japan. I did study exchange in Hiroshima. So, you know, countryside, yay. Not really. There was a million people in the city, but, you know, kind of countryside. And my family came to visit, and we did the very traditional thing of, like, renting a kimono and going to a shrine and seeing what it is. And I was like, I really like the way this, like, garment looks on me. I like the history of it. I like the idea of it. And then I was like, okay, how do I figure out how to do this myself? And then I started searching for things, and then I found a class, like a classroom setting that was all fully in Japanese, just Japanese. I got taught how to tie myself into a kimono and how to do things by literally just like children's songs. I didn't know fingers, so all I know are the fingers I need for to like put kimono on. Those are the only fingers I know. But that's how I kind of got into it. I found a classroom. I thought that there were going to be more young people in it, but it's literally all people that are my grandmas. They're just grandmas. And I got adopted by a lot of Japanese grandmas. They were very excited. They were very disappointed I was taken. Any more questions? Oh, there's one question in the back there.
Have you ever made a kimono yourself?
I have not, but I have made a hakama. I didn't have the need to make a kimono for myself. I know how to make one in theory. I have a book that literally lays out how to do it, how to measure everything. But I've never had the need to do it because I did stock up. Any other questions? There's one on that side.
Is hakama something that you can wear as a streetwear?
Absolutely. Haori, amazing streetwear. Amazing, amazing streetwear. I literally wear this over most of my clothing. If you see me walking around tomorrow, I'll be wearing this over my normal clothes. Literally how I do it. Only thing is, like, if you have a haori, make sure you fold the collar in half. Only thing that's important. You fold the collar in half. They usually have a thing to tie in the front. Sometimes they don't. But same with hakama. With hakama as well, absolutely can be worn as everyday wear. A lot of items can be worn as everyday wear. Yes, this is a haori. Cool. There's another question on that side.
Do you only fold the haori collar on the backside, not the full collar? Can you show me again?
No, it's mostly because the way this whole garment is structured, it's like if you fold the back of the collar, the front of the collar doesn't need to be folded, because if you don't fold it, it's like this, but you just want it to be along the seam. Anybody who's interested, after the lesson, I'll be probably out there a little bit, because we are not going to be making it to it. Yeah. I'll be out there. You guys can come take a closer look at these items. I won't hold up space here, but I will be out there. And anybody who's interested can come take a closer look at these, if there's any questions. There's another question?
you said that yukata cost about €4 or something. Like how much of a budget would you recommend someone to have for souvenir purchasing once they eventually get to Japan?
Depends on the souvenirs. If you want yukata, and if you're looking for somebody who's tall, if you're looking for somebody who's short, secondhand markets. Book off secondhand markets, Mercari, if you have time to like order something from online. A lot of these shops, fantastic. If you're looking for somebody that's tall, just walk into any kimono shop. They usually, especially in summer season, they have a bunch of yukatas. You can look at the sizing and pick one. And even those, you're maybe looking at €15. They're not very expensive in Japan at all.
How about kimono?
Kimono, buying it new, you can easily spend 10 grand on it. Easy.
So, like, if I buy online, how can I best assure that it's going to be the right size?
Mostly, you just kind of measure yourself. You measure the length from your shoulder to your arm, and you want to make sure that it's about the correct length. Most of my stuff is a little short for me, so I tend to sit with my elbows curled, so they sit where they're supposed to. But a lot of this stuff is slightly short for me because I am quite tall by Japanese standards. I'm not very tall, but I'm quite tall. But basically, just measure it, you look at the measurements, and you kind of check that it's like the correct size. Any other questions? No? Oh, there's one. Almost thought we got off early.
Should all yukata and kimono be handmade, or can they be sewn with a machine, or?
Absolutely, make it with machine. Make it with a serger. It doesn't really matter. A lot of these, some of the kimonos, like when it's expensive, it's handmade. When it's really, really expensive, handmade. A lot of kimono are actually mass manufactured. A lot of the ones are mass manufactured. You can see the patterns. If you go to Japan and you go to any secondhand store or any kimono shop, you can see the patterns that are manufactured by like the ton. And you can see which ones are usually like mass manufactured. They're not bad quality any means. They're not bad quality at all. But they're just patterns that are much more common, and they're much more likely to be seen and sold somewhere else. And then there's also patterns that are like very rare, and they're very, very expensive, and they're all handmade and hand-stitched and stuff. But you can very easily just sew them by a machine. No need to spend hours and hours and hours of hand sewing things. Not everything can be made by machine, just because of the positions they're in. But most things, just make it with a serger, make it with a machine. It's all good. You don't have to hand make it. You can, but you don't have to. Was there any more questions? One in the back.
How about when it comes to washing the kimono yukatas?
Traditionally, you would take it apart by every single seam, wash it, turn every piece of fabric around, re-sew it. We don't do that. That's so much work, and in Japan there's dedicated places to washing a kimono. Most yukata, they're cotton. You can probably machine wash them. Realistically, you can probably machine wash them. If needed, you can also hand wash more delicate items. You can just usually hand wash them. In Japan, they just send them off and they come back crisp. But here, not really possible. So if you get it dirty or you get something on it, you usually can just hand wash it. Or with case of a lot of yukatas, and for example, my summer kimono, I can wash it in a machine. I'm not gonna because I'm worried about it, but I can. It stays on the label that you can. Oftentimes, just hand wash it, be gentle with it, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah, with kimono you'll have the undergarments that you can wash, so you don't have to wash it as often because you'll have the undergarment that gets sweaty instead of the outer layer.
Yeah, just don't spill anything on it. That's the only risk, you spill something on it. Any other questions? I think I have time for one single more question before it is the time. No? Fantastic. We're getting off early then. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to my hyperfixation. Highly appreciated. There was way more people than I was anticipating. Thank you so much for all showing up. Let's pack it up. Okei, voitko ottaa mut irti?
Yes.